Good afternoon. This is Ronald Bird with Style Speaks on this glorious Saturday afternoon. Looks like we're getting some snow. Yeah. I hope everybody's got their little snowshoes or whatever. But I have a really wonderful guest, the distinct pleasure of talking to this gentleman who agreed to speak with Style Speaks today. His name is Linwood Davis. Thank you.
How you doing?
All right, how you doing? We actually met before, so I'm not going to pretend like we ain't never met before. A lot of my guests, you got to stand still. A lot of my guests I've never met before, but this particular time we've actually had the pleasure of meeting, and so he's actually taken some time out to talk to us today. But we want to find out, where you from?
I'm from D.C.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, born and raised?
Born and raised in Northeast D.C., and then, of course, like everybody else, I moved out to the county.
Not everybody else. Well, I didn't go out there.
A lot of people, they move out to the county, you know.
Oh, okay. So you went to school, high school, and all that kind of stuff in the Washington metropolitan area?
Yeah, I went to high school in Laurel.
Okay. So you kind of left the city pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, you're one of these kind of people that does a lot of things well. I think, I think you kind of classify yourself as an artist. You definitely have your own distinct style. At what point did you kind of figure out you were creative, that you can deem yourself an artist? How early? What were some of your earlier influences, and who kind of brought that to your attention that you had talent?
My earliest realization that I, was creative was when I was little. I remember the story of...
He said when I was little. Can we get like an age? I mean, little, like, you're little now. I know, just teasing.
When I was like 5 or 6, I remember I drew a train on the wall.
Okay.
In a house, and
everybody just went off on that train. It was like, oh, you good?
Right. Well, my mom thought it was nice. She thought it was like real creative, but she was like, you're gonna get your butt when you get home. So definitely when I got home, my father was like, oh, that's nice, and then he would like take your clothes off, and I remember getting a butt whooping all the way upstairs.
Why did you get a beat?
Because I drew on the wall.
Oh, you drew it on the wall?
I drew it on the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That tends to get an ass whooping.
Yeah, with crayon.
Oh, you off the chain.
So, I've always been creative and arts and crafts, but photography is something I picked up probably 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So more of a creative artist early on.
Right.
And then you kind of adapted to the whole photography piece.
Right.
So, why? Is that kind of a natural transition from like drawing and being kind of crafty to go into photography, do you find?
I think it was natural just because of just the creative aspect of it, of putting things together and creating like a visual.
Okay.
I just realized once I got behind the lens, I saw a thing that, was a little bit different from everybody else. Okay. So I just figured I could just put things together and create a visual for what I want.
Okay, what you were trying to portray.
Right.
Okay, well that's pretty interesting. Well, being an artist and into the whole photography piece, a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what I like to get from my guests with Style Speaks is like their own individual, creative looks and styles and how they get to, own their own look. You have like the piercings, you're kind of, you got kind of like the casual kind of grunge. I mean, of course it's cold and now it's snowing out here, but I've seen some photographs of you and your little, kind of creative look. You're kind of artistic, you really kind of dress artistically. Right. Where do you think that sense of style came from, and how did that come about for you?
Honestly, I don't know, because in high school I always felt like I was the odd kid.
Okay.
Like I didn't necessarily fit in, because I never, liked wearing what everybody else, liked to wear. Like everybody was into the Jordans and the foam posits and, WB. Like I liked that kind of stuff, but I always wanted to, wear something different.
Okay.
But as I got older, I guess I just was more influenced by definitely urban fashion and a little bit of grunge, a little bit of punk. I grew into my style over the years.
Okay. Well, who are some of your influences? I mean, who did you like? I mean, if you were to base your look after maybe somebody that we'd recognize or somebody that we know, who would that person be? Who would you say?
I like Pharrell.
Okay.
I like his style a lot.
Okay.
Andre 3000. He's pretty funky with his
Okay.
stuff.
You like that kind of funky, creative kind of look.
I even like, you know, some of the old cats, like Jimi Hendrix, you know, Bob Marley. You know, their style is like pretty like casual, but still like kind of rock, you know, rockish, rock star. So I like that.
Okay. Well, what would your position be? I mean, we're in the DMV. You've been here pretty much this area most of your life, if not all of your life. How would you categorize DC on a scale, so maybe 1 to 10, compared to some of the other big major fashion cities like New York and Miami? Do you find that you see creativity? Do you like the looks that you see on the streets when you're about doing what you do? I mean, what's your perception?
I would give DC about a 7 or 8.
Okay.
Only because, you know, to other cities, it's not like New York or Miami where, like, you know, people flock to DC for their fashion.
Right.
I definitely believe DC has its own style.
Okay. Like, what would you call that? If you had to give it a word.
Urban quirkiness.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of edgy, but we're quirky at the same time.
So quirky with it?
Yeah, just a little. Sometimes we can go a little too far.
Okay.
Far with it, yeah.
Okay. So you said, I think I cut you off. So you said a scale of 1 to 10, you would say you would give it a 7?
I would give it like 7 or 8.
7 or 8?
Depending on who it is.
Okay. Well, what do you like to see the more fashionable looks? I mean, this is your, you know, this is your kind of urban flavor, but I mean, do you tend to partake in the more dressy events? Do you like putting on a suit? Do you like getting dressed up? Or you kind of steer away from the whole dress shirt and tie? Do you feel comfortable in those looks, or, you know, and do you like to see it?
Right. I don't like suits. I'm not opposed to wearing a suit, of course, you know, for the occasion. It would be right for a wedding or, you know, a funeral. But me personally, it's just that with a suit, I feel like you're kind of limited. You know, you can have different kind of suits, you know, tux or whatever, but even when I wear a suit, I like to add my own little flavor to it, of course, with the piercings and the tats. You know, I do that on my own. But if I can wear like a pin or, you know, jewelry, you know, accessories, you know, that's how I add my own.
Well, that's how you do add your own individual style. I mean, I tend to disagree with the whole, not being able to kind of lend of your individual self with wearing suits. I mean, I think earlier up, you know, as I was coming up, I didn't tend to like suits because I couldn't be creative. I like putting things together.
Right.
A lot of folks like it to already be set for them.
Right.
It's easier. Let me get a suit and just I have to worry about a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
You know, I like putting a jacket, a shirt, I like accessories.
Right.
And, you know, I'm one of those kind of dudes. But a lot of folks can't do that, and I understand they don't have that creative knack. But as I got older and started to embrace the already put together suit, I still find that you can be just as individual, and it's different cuts, how you wear the suit.
Right.
You know, the cuts of the suit, the patterns, the details, the textures.
Yeah.
You know, you have to really get all into all that, which makes you a little bit more individual in the dressiness. But your own individual. I mean, if you had your way, you probably, you know, would not necessarily put one on. Is what you're saying.
Right. If I had my way, you know, of course. Right. But like I said, for the right occasion, you know, I'll throw in a suit.
You will do that. Well, getting back into the whole I think, you know, we talked a little earlier and about you maybe, I don't know if you wanted to even discuss that, about you even making some moves or whatever. I'm not sure how much that have changed, or if you even wanted to talk about that. Since you've gotten into what you do creatively, artistically, and the photography work that you've done, how do you plan on expanding that? What's your next venture as far as the photography piece and the artistry piece?
Well, you know, like I said, I wasn't trying to put it out there so soon, but
you don't have to.
No.
Okay.
No, I want to because
they gonna know now. Everybody watch Style Speaks. They gonna know now. Y'all gonna know what he's doing now. Come on.
No, but I want to. You know, I do plan on moving to LA.
West Coast.
Right. And I've always felt like, you know, Cali was the place for me, even growing up. I've always loved Cali, the music, the style, the atmosphere. And I feel like for what I want to do, like LA would be the place for me to just find the right opportunity and connect with the right people.
Okay, well that's the short answer. Oh, you just started. Well, okay, that's the short answer. But what I'm looking for, I mean, you can do what you're doing you can continue to do it here. And you may want to go to LA for the warm weather, the climate, or whatever. I don't necessarily think that has a whole lot to do with what you do creatively, that you can't continue to do it here. It's just maybe the location, you just want to try something different. I mean, you just may want to just, you know, you've lived on the East Coast all your life, you may just want to make that change.
Right.
But I guess professionally and creatively, how do you think being on the West Coast is going to make that much of a difference, I guess is what I'm trying to get from you.
Professionally, I guess you could say I kind of feel like I would rather be, you know, a small fish in a big pond versus a big fish in a small pond. Like, I love DC, you know, DC is home. You know, I grew up here, but I always felt like I was, you know, don't take it the wrong way, but I'm kind of like bigger than DC. Like, you know, I want to go out and I want to explore the world. I don't want to be confined to just, you know, where I'm from. Like, and I definitely want to explore other cultures, other cities, see what other opportunities there are out for me. You know, LA, definitely the weather. You know, like I said, like, you know, Cali to me is just the perfect place for me to be personally, because, you know, I love the nature, I love the scenery. That's just the place where, you know, I feel like I can definitely grow as an artist.
That's the next step for you. And rightfully so. I mean, that's your answer, and that's of course the right answer. I wasn't looking for a specific answer, but you kind of answered it, because if you feel like you're kind of stifled and you're ready, you've been here all of your life, you want to expand and grow and all that, and it's quite natural for you to think that and want to, you know, explore and go and do certain things.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, before we close up, how do you find, or what do you want to do? You know, say if somebody gave you a ticket tomorrow, you could just like pack your stuff up, and it's like, okay, we're gonna get you on that plane back to LA.
Right.
What's one of the first things you do?
One of the first things I do.
Yeah.
I
want the truth now.
I tell my mama. I call my mom and be like, look.
I'm gone. No, once you get to LA, what would be one of the first things you do?
Oh man, once I get to LA, honestly, I would grab my camera and
just start shooting.
Okay. You know, I don't need people. I don't need like a photo shoot. You know, a set photo shoot. I can just grab my camera and just go out into the streets and to wherever and just take advantage of the atmosphere.
That's great. Well, great. Well, okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to look for you. Tell people how they can find you. If you want to find out if you're actually going to be moving and when you're going to be leaving, you know, your Facebook, your website, whatever. Tell everybody how they can look you up if they want to follow you.
Well, I mean, of course, I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Wood D the Photog, WOOD D the Photog. I'm also on Facebook. My business page is Facebook.com/Wood D Productions, and I have a website. It's still in the works. So
under construction.
Under construction. I don't want to give it out because I would be embarrassed if you go to.
If you go and say, "Well, dang."
Right. If you go to the actual website. Right. But I do promise by the time that I make the move, that the website will be up and running. But I'm definitely.
Oh, they're gonna be ready to see this on Monday.
Oh well. Soon. Soon.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Linwood. That's all I got.
Thank you.
It's snow. I mean, it just like started coming down real hard over here. You got your man over here freezing to death.
I love it though.
And I love it too. I mean, I'm an East Coast boy. I've lived on the West Coast. I've actually lived in Vegas and I lived in the South and back to the East Coast. Didn't like the South. I'll retire to the West Coast any day, but you'd like it definitely.
Great.
But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
This has been another edition of Style Speaks with Mr. Linwood, Wood D Wood Productions, and he may be not staying with us long, so y'all check him out. Again, this is Ronald Bird with Style Speaks. Have a great afternoon.